The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
It's a terrific Thursday edition of Talkin Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, in the SWBC studios. Today we preview the final matchup of the Cowboys 2024 season. They welcome in the Washington Commanders, a familiar face looking for a bit of revenge in Dan Quinn and company. We're going to talk about it with Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Isaiah Stanback, Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. Full cast and crew ready for you to rock this Thursday. Happy New Year, everyone. It's officially 2025.
Happy New Year, fellas.
It is. Have you messed up?
It is my birthday. No.
Have you messed up by writing the wrong date or
No.
typing the wrong date yet?
No, I don't really write checks anymore, Kyle.
Ooh. Wow. You've got people to do that for you?
No, I just call.
No, it's just Apple.
Just transfer. Just move the money
Hit this
around.
button, take the money out.
Yeah, just move the
That's kind of how
money
it goes
around.
now.
No, you guys will be proud of me. First thing I did, website changed to 2025.
Hey.
That was like at 12 o'clock. I was like, I have nothing better to do than to change the website date.
I thought
It's
you were
ceremonious.
doing it on
Yeah.
That's awesome.
some, I thought you were doing it on some Y2K terror type thing. Like,
I was just like, I got nothing better to do. I guess.
Yeah, I might as well just flip it to
No
25.
one invited me to do it.
Oh, poor Josh.
after you did that, did you like jump up and freeze in midair? Like,
Yeah. We did it.
I got nothing better to do than work.
Oh, man. No, hope everybody had a safe, happy holiday, happy New Year, and a great start to the new year. That's the thing is, New Year's resolutions are always, I think, for the most part, they're kind of cliche. Mm-hmm. But you can still change your mindset on things, and there's no better way to do that than to have a starting point. So
100%.
Having a January 1st, I don't think – a lot of times New Year's resolutions can get a little silly if you don't take it seriously. But if you take it seriously and you really want to take a resolution and run with it, I'm all for it. I think it's great. So my resolution is to be better at communication. I'm bad at that. So I'm going to try and be better at communication, especially since the babies came. Communication's rough. I'm not around my phone as much.
Yeah,
I was going to say,
So-
considering what you do for a living,
It would be good to be good at communication, right? Yeah.
Being a bit of a downside for you, not downside, but opportunity for improvement.
Yeah.
It's kind of an oxymoron.
Yeah. It's mostly communication with others and family is kind of the big one.
Being the one to reach
I
out.
don't know, man.
Yeah.
You and I communicate very well, Kyle.
Darn right.
Very well.
You're darn right.
Alias.
Big day for you. Dogs play tonight?
Yeah,
This afternoon.
but yeah, I'd be remiss if I first didn't, offer my prayers and condolences to New Orleans and the families for those who, relatives of the lives lost in that terror attack on yesterday. So, I mean, yeah, we'll get to the football here today. And I'm excited to get to the football, but I know there are a lot of fans of both sides, the Irish and the Dogs, who were, as I was reading on Twitter, upset that the game was moved. I had no issue with it whatsoever. Let's just not be insensitive. Life is bigger than football. We'll get to the football when it's time to get to the football.
100%.
So today, 3 o'clock Central Time, we get it on.
Aren't you doing Media Mash at 3 o'clock?
Absolutely not.
Chris?
Oh, you're not?
Yeah. Eatman said that you were clear.
That you were going to do that.
Fire me.
For this one, one show.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
Taking
Love
it
y'all, but
serious.
it's not happening.
Taking it serious. Here's the thing: is if Nick Eatman was put in the same exact scenario, and it was the Arkansas Razorbacks that were in the college football playoff quarterfinal, he would say the same thing. He'd be like, "No, I'm not doing it."
It's not happening.
So I completely get it. All right, let's get into some news and notes.
Yep.
Cowboys had some Pro Bowl nods today.
We did have some information coming over from 5 Cowboys who not only are getting Pro Bowl nods, but are returning to the Pro Bowl. Kevontae Turpin and Brandon Aubrey, the XFL experiments gone wonderfully successly. They both are returning to the Pro Bowl for the second year in a row, which is fantastic for them because they've only been in the league for 2 years. For Brandon Aubrey, that makes him the first kicker in Cowboys franchise history to ever go to back-to-back Pro Bowls, and that is actually mind-blowing when you consider some of the names, some of the right foots that have kind of walked through here. Dan Bailey being the most recent legend that walked through. So shouts out to those guys. Michael Parsons, he gets another Pro Bowl nod. CeeDee Lamb, you talk about someone who could not deserve it more. CeeDee Lamb and what he went through and put on the field and put on tape and put in the locker room leadership-wise for the Cowboys with one bad arm, shoulder barely attached to his body. Shouts out to him. And Tyler Smith, the lone offensive lineman for the Cowboys, who got another nod. But, Tyler Smith, he was a man-child again this year. He was the stabilizing force when you talk about the flux due to injury at left tackle, the Zach Martin situation at right guard. Is it Brock Hoffman? Is it T.J. Bass? Terrence Steele had a rough start before he finally kind of got going. It was Tyler Smith who was basically handling his business for the majority of the game and majority of the season. And if you don't believe me, go ask Vita Vea if Tyler Smith should be a Pro Bowler. So Turpin, Aubrey,
take
Parsons.
that, you dub.
Take that. Turpin, Aubrey, Parsons. I did that on purpose. Lamb Smith, all Pro Bowlers, all deserving. And we'll likely see some alternates as well as injuries and guys kind of pull out, because they're in the playoffs and things like that. So that is one of the headlines. We'll kind of go down before we finish with the explosive one. Cowboys signed 3 on yesterday. They signed Luke Barku, who is a cornerback.
Household name.
He went to school he was undrafted in 2020 of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But if you know anything about that particular draft, Luke Barku was one of the names that had a lot of interest coming out. Offensive guard Jack Anderson, Plano native, went to high school out here in Frisco, so it's a homecoming for him. And then Ernest Brown, which is a defensive end, he won a Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams, so he does bring some experience here. Former 5th round pick of the Los Angeles Rams before getting a trophy and a ring with them. Aubrey, Texas native. All right, and he went to school out in Denton, your neck of the woods.
Let's go
there. So we got 2 homecomings for the Cowboys. We got a cornerback, a defensive end, and an offensive guard. And for anyone wondering, why sign these guys now? Well, as the season is about to end, effective next week, futures deals can be secured by the Cowboys. So these are guys who are going to get a shot this offseason to try to stick with the roster. Now, what head coach will they be playing for? We don't know. What are the assistant coaches? We don't know. But those are storylines that'll wrap themselves up, hopefully in the next several weeks or so. And now, several days, hopefully. And now for the bombshell. Ezekiel Elliott. This happened on New Year's Eve. So I will say Happy New Year's because it was his request. So Ezekiel Elliott requested to be released on New Year's Eve, and the Cowboys honored it. So for the second time, and I love numerology, for the second time in exactly 21 months, the Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott, Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott are parting ways. He cleared waivers yesterday, so he is free to sign with any team that will have him going into the playoffs. So if there's a playoff team that needs a running back for whatever reason, injury, depth, Ezekiel Elliott is now on the market. Now, what does that mean for evaluation purposes for the Washington Commanders? Do we see a lot more Deuce? Do we see Hunter Lipke get back in the mix? Do we see an elevation from Malik Davis to kind of get him some burn? Because he's not had any burn at all this season. Just makes it a little bit more interesting. But, so former 2-time NFL rushing champ and one of the most productive Cowboys running backs in history for the second time in less than 2 calendar years is back on the free market.
Isaiah Stanback.
He's making faces.
He's said one word this entire show.
Fair enough. But I got to ask, if you're a playoff team, you kicking the tires on
I love
Ezekiel
on the
Elliott?
spot.
I think it really depends on the type of team that you are and what is it that you're looking for. What role are you looking for him to fill? Are you looking for somebody to come in and be a good blocking back? Then I think that's the guy that you go with. He does a good job of pass protection.
You are fighting. Say it with your chest, man.
It's not Friday.
Don't be
Friday.
coy. No coy,
It's not
Isaiah.
Friday. You
Today.
gotta save for tomorrow. It's our last say with your chest Friday of the year.
All right.
I gotta build up for it. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the team needs. I personally can't foresee a team needing his services as I look at look forward into the outlook of these teams that are playoff bound. I think of one team that may be interested.
Who is that? Can we talk about?
There's one that comes to mind. I mean, he's a free agent, so
Yeah, I mean,
you can.
Say
the
it.
only playoff team that I could potentially foresee would be a Detroit.
that's exactly who I was thinking.
David
of.
Montgomery's out?
David Montgomery's
Yeah, but
out.
he's almost back to the word. I mean, from what I'm hearing, he's working towards it. So
Practice
I mean,
squad insurance.
possibly. I mean, it's possibly. I mean, it's a depth move.
Yeah.
So but in
That's
terms
all
of,
it would end up being, anyways.
But
it's
in
not like
terms
he's
of-
going to take an RB1 spot.
No,
of any of these
course
teams.
not. But I mean, I don't see a team in need of the running contributions from the running back picking up Ezekiel Elliott. I don't foresee that.
I could only see it as a practice squad insurance signing.
Yeah.
Like I don't see him taking anyone's active spot.
He wants a ring before he retires.
Yeah.
That's what this is about.
Oh,
Do you speaking
very
of that,
clearly.
Here's a conversation I'm interested in you guys' thought process on, because it popped in my head. How far, or phrase it this way, how close are we to Ezekiel Elliott calling it a career?
This year.
I think this is a pretty good indication.
The writing's on the wall
This is
now.
why he's asking to be released.
It's either this year or next year. There's only
It's
two
this
options
year.
here,
It's this
and
year.
I think it's probably this year.
It's the only
I don't
justification that I have for him wanting to be released. He's like, okay, this season's done. I necessarily haven't been that welcomed here. My stay hasn't been great, right? I've caused some issues while being here. Last week of the season, go ahead and cut me so I can go bandwagon it and get a ring and call my career a wrap. That's what my thought process is with this. I'm not going to put that on him, but that's what I'm perceiving.
Outside of pass blocking, though, do you see him contributing in any other fashion?
No.
Outside of
No, and that's what I'm saying.
play.
That's it. That's it. I mean, it's a super
Leadership,
emergency. It's a break glass emergency running back. I mean, but I'd imagine that most of these teams have a running back on their roster on the practice squad already that they probably feel good about. But if they don't, then you have a veteran who knows, all the defenses. He knows how to protect. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's the value. I don't see him. He hasn't done anything here this year to his running ability as valuable for another team that's playoff bound.
definitely doesn't have that burst anymore. He looks worse than he did in New England last year, which I thought was going to be a sticking point this year. It was like, okay, well, let's bring a receiving type Zeke into the fold, and it just didn't.
No, I was curious because Detroit was who popped in my head first with the Montgomery injury, and like I said, practice squad insurance. But I think the same would be said for Skip Pete. And so if Tampa gets into the playoffs, I just looked at their practice squad situation. The only running back they have on their practice squad is DJ Williams, and I don't think DJ Williams' presence there will be enough for Skip Pete with the familiarity he has with Ezekiel Elliott to forego Zeke.
I think that's the reason why he wouldn't sign him.
You think so?
I don't know if they were particularly close.
Yeah.
Like during his time here, a lot of times in the conversations with Skip Pete back whenever he was in Dallas, he wanted to get Tony Pollard more involved, and there was more of a forced hand at Ezekiel Elliott than there may have been for Tony Pollard at that time. So I don't know if it fractured their relationship, but I don't know if they were necessarily like buds.
I would think that his familiarity would work against him in that regard.
And
So you're saying what he's saying?
Yeah.
All that being said, there's nobody else more on his side than Jerry Jones. What Jerry Jones said about Zeke, obviously, has a lot of respect for him, has a lot of love for the player that he is, and what he can provide to a team leadership-wise. But obviously, they're doing it because, even McCarthy said, he deserves it. If he's requesting this, he deserves to get what he wants in that regard. So it was interesting to see a Jerry Jones statement out of that because, that a player that didn't necessarily impact your team statistically throughout the entire season to get a statement from Jerry Jones, the owner and general manager. It says a lot about his character.
And also, not to mention, I put this on Twitter when the news broke, but the fact that Zeke came back in the first place, the fact that he returned to Dallas, took a different number, took a second role, completely, at least from the outside looking in, was okay being that second back because it seemed like that was the case from the get-go. I know there was kind of a back and forth between him and Dowdle early on, but very much so that changed into Dowdle. The fact that he came back and it shows how much he did enjoy being here and the guys that are around him. Of course, you know the relationship that he has with Dak, the relationship he has with some of those other guys in the locker room. So I will always appreciate Ezekiel Elliott.
100%.
And we did the whole goodbye Zeke the first time that he was released 21 months ago. So I don't think it's as ceremonious now, but it doesn't change what he did for this organization. I heard somebody on the radio the other day, I'm not going to say which station, somebody on the radio the other day was like, man, what did he even do? What was his most memorable time with the Cowboys? I was like, you obviously did not watch Prime Zeke. I was like, tell me you didn't watch Prime Zeke without watching Prime Zeke. He was a two-time rushing leader. He was one of the more elusive and incredible and explosive backs in all of football. And even up until the end of his first tenure with the Cowboys, he was one of the best pass protection backs, one of the best red zone backs. He did a lot of things for this organization, including 71 touchdowns worth.
Which led to him sort of breaking down physically towards the end of his career.
And his frustrations this year, notwithstanding, over the course of being one of the more dynamic backs in not only the history of the franchise, but in the history of the NFL, he was also mentoring guys like Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle, getting them up to the point of performance that you're seeing right now from Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle. So Ezekiel Elliott has his fingerprints all over the success of Rico Dowdle this season. Not to take away from Rico's work, but if you go back when we were having these conversations 2-3 years ago with Rico Dowdle, asking him about the mentorship of Tony and Zeke, he gave all these reasons, all these things that he was kind of absorbing from Ezekiel Elliott to become a dynamic back in the NFL. So when you talk about influence in the locker room, production on the field, the highlight reel, right? The fact that he kind of reset the whole running back market when the Cowboys took him and he showed that he was more than worth it. That's why you then see a Saquon Barkley get a high pick. So that had ramifications. So
one thing begets the other.
Yeah, let's admit two things can be true. Wildly unproductive reunion with the Cowboys in 2024, but don't let that draw a strike through from what he actually meant. He is a Ring of Honor candidate in my eyes. So let's not dismiss what he did. Candidate.
Not a lock.
Not a shoe-in. Not a lock, but that's definitely a rightful conversation. So.
He was a very, very productive, very good back during his time in Dallas. Don't forget that just because of the last couple of years.
I do believe that he will. I don't believe that he makes that request without knowing that he's going to get picked up.
That's kind of what, and the fact that it came from his agent too makes me think there's something out there.
They've been told, hey, if you guys get released, we'll pick you up. That's how I would foresee that going.
Also, not to mention, it gives him the option. He doesn't have to sign right now. He can sign whenever he wants because he's an unrestricted free agent. So
there will be another reunion. It'll be the one-day contract thing. Is what I think.
When he finally decides to.
When he decides to retire, it'll be the one-day contract thing and the whole press conference thing. Because he didn't get the Jason Witten treatment first time around. So I think they'll give him the Jason Witten treatment.
All right. When we come back, it's time to dive into a little bit of QB vision. We're going to preview the matchup with the Washington Commanders, taking a look at what Dan Quinn's bringing from the defensive side of the ball, and then after that, we'll flip to the offense, see what the Cowboys offense, see what the Washington offense. Goodness gracious, we're talking about all these different teams. What the Washington offense is bringing with the rookie Jaden Daniels. Welcome to 2025. More Talking Cowboys right after this. If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this portion of the show is brought to you by Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Quaker Oats, trusted since 1877. You didn't get them in this morning, I can tell already.
I didn't.
They're trusted since 1877.
Had a busy morning,
Did you know that?
man. I did know that. Where can you get them at?
You can get them on the internet using the Quaker code in the corner.
Boom.
You talking about this one?
That one right there.
It's nice.
And for
That
those
QR
that are
code right
listening
there.
on the audio side of things, you can just go to Quaker Oats online.
Sick.
Buy your oats from the internet.
QuakerOats.com/TalkinCowboys for free oats. I'm just kidding.
Wait, is that true? Oh, no, it's not. I got really excited for a second. I was like, oh, I would have been typing that real quick.
Well, you get a 404 page, and then you can go and get your oats. Either way.
I wonder what would happen. I'm actually going to try that. All right.
Spody Odie.
Because of this, we've got Isaiah Stanback. He's been a little coy, just been a little chill, just hanging out.
It's kind of sad. It's last week, man.
Yeah. By the way, Talking Cowboys will be at 10 a.m. Central Time on Tuesdays throughout the off season. So we will be back every week, same as last year, 10 a.m.
Talking Tuesday.
Talking Tuesdays. We'll probably take a phone call or two every couple weeks, but for the most part, it'll be our only time to talk throughout the year. So,
are you going to be able to be on Tuesdays? Good Morning Football?
No, I'm done, man.
You're done?
I'm done. Contract's done.
Oh, that's why it's
Congratulations.
quiet.
Yeah.
That's why it's quiet.
Contract's them done. Contract here's done. I'm just done, you know.
Contract here is done.
It's
time never done.
Well,
It's time to get some. Okay, I was about to say we're time to get some contract extensions.
Contract talks. Okay.
I'm just a free agent out here, guys. Don't mind me.
We're gonna see him on talking Jaguars next year.
No, that's Bucky Brooks. That's Bucky.
That's your guy.
That is my guy.
You're our guy, which means we will rely on you to give us some.
Wide 80. Wide 80. It's time for QB Vision with Isaiah Stanback.
All right, guys. We're back for the last QB Vision of the 2024 season.
Yes, sir.
/25 now. I guess we have to put the slash in there.
Yeah.
It's coming to an end.
It is coming to an end. It's kind of whack, honestly.
It's kind of whack.
I mean, 3 straight years we had playoff talk around here.
Yeah.
3 straight years. You want to talk about getting spoiled? Yeah. Talk about.
Somebody's yelling in the
heck is
hallway.
going on in the
I don't know
hallway?
what's going on?
Is everything okay, Beamer? Let me know.
Beamer.
Let me know. If I didn't
There was something going on.
All right.
Antennas are up.
Yeah,
currently.
you know my antennas are all the way up. I'm in a doggone box.
A glass case of emotion. If you
A
want.
glass case of emotion.
I got you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. We know this defense too well, all right? It's not a whole lot to add to what we've done recently. This is a team that you beat last time that you faced them. You only gave up 1 sack, and it was against one of the Bama boys because the other Bama boy was gone. You guys know who I'm talking about?
Mr. Payne.
Yeah, Mr. Payne.
Major Payne.
Major. My name is Major Winifred Payne. So one of the Bama boys was gone, but that was the last time that you faced them, correct? Deron Payne had a sack.
Correct.
We talked about the potential of the Bama boys coming back together, right? The band's back together again. Do you guys know when that occurred?
Right when they started winning again?
Yeah, it just happened. These guys are back. Okay, the Bama boys are back. So your worries that you have on the defensive front are back, unless Dan Quinn is going to plan on sitting his guys. We don't know. I don't know. We don't know that. But let's just act as if these guys are going to be there. This is arguably the nastiest interior combo defensive line that you're going to face. In terms, I mean, this has been the conversation for years.
You've seen individuals,
but I'm talking about Bash brothers. We're talking about Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen is back. He is back. These guys are make nasty, and when you throw in what Dante Fowler Jr. is doing, you throw in what Dorrance Armstrong is doing, it's a problem.
Well, this looks like what Dan Quinn wanted to build.
This is exactly what
Washington.
he wanted to build.
When he was signing those guys from Dallas and saying, okay, I've already got the 2 guys on the interior.
The ends.
I've already got the Bama boys down low.
Yeah.
I need the guys on the edge. I need Dorrance Armstrong. I need Dante Fowler Jr.
I need to put somebody behind those guys.
It's some linebacker help. They'll get there.
Maybe make a trade.
No, I'm saying like
maybe like a Lattimore type.
You talking about in the secondary?
No, I'm talking
about
about the linebacker. If you're gonna have 2 really good interior defensive linemen, you want to put a really good defensive end bookends around them, which they've done.
Got it.
These guys have been productive for them. Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler Jr., your Dallas Cowboys from last year have been very productive.
Maybe a future Hall of Famer.
Maybe a future Hall of Famer at linebacker.
A guy that's just been consistent for 45 years.
He's only had like 150 tackles like each of the last 12 years or something like that. Like, crazy.
And then next to him, just put somebody with the name Levu.
Oh, we're back here.
Yeah. Anyways, these guys we know. Like, their front seven is nice. Okay, their front seven is nice. I haven't seen Marshawn Lattimore touch the field still.
He's on there.
He's out there.
Yeah,
he
played last week.
Okay,
he's doing his thing.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything.
I don't know if he'll be there this week.
He was there last week and got injured, so he's on the sidelines again.
There you go.
Yeah, he's back on the sidelines. So that's it. So not much going on. We know what they do in terms of the secondary coverage wise. These guys are going to go and they're going to play press man. They're going to play a little bit of cover 3 mixed in there. They're 80% of the time they're going to be single high. You're not going to get anything crazy. The guys up front
kind of like what happened here.
Exactly what happened here.
Oh, weird.
But the defensive line allows for them to do whatever the heck they want to, and you have to deal with Jeremy Chin sitting in a doggone box, right? So they're gonna take away the run game by having an 8-man box. If you want to try to get them out of the pass, you're gonna have to be able to throw yourself out of man-to-man coverage. And you have no CeeDee Lamb, and your number 1 receiver is Brandon Cooks. Is he playing? I don't know. So
probably
Brandon Cooks had about 177 attempts in the first 2 drives. So he had a bunch of attempts last week in the first 2 drives. They were trying to force the narrative there, but somebody has to step up in the receiving game. You have to step up, but you're going to have to do it versus man-to-man. So you're not going to have the ability to sit back and be comfortable in the pocket if these guys play. If you're regardless of who our quarterback's going to be this week, they're going to have to get the ball out on time, and they have to be precise with their passing because the coverage is going to be sticky. We haven't seen our receivers show the ability to get off of sticky coverage outside of CeeDee Lamb this year. That's the facts. That's not a indictment on them. It just is what it is.
Well, that was the conversation when Dak was playing quarterback.
Correct.
0 separation outside of a guy wearing number 88.
Correct.
And there was tight windows to throw the football into, this leading to turnovers and bad completion percentage and all sorts of things. That hasn't changed. It's gotten better to a certain extent, but I'm not going to jump out of the cake and say, hey, here's look at all these wide receivers that we love so much.
Yeah, no, don't do that. No butt naked Kyle today.
No, not today.
So yeah, in regards to just the report, I mean they're going to do what we know that they're going to do. And I don't foresee them doing a lot of blitzing because I don't think that they need to. I think that their front 4 is strong enough and nasty enough to get there. I think that if those gentlemen play, Dante Fowler Jr. and Dorrance Armstrong didn't get sacks last time they played, they're going to want to get that. Yeah. I truly think they're going to want to get that, regardless of who the QB is. So I think those guys are going to be highly motivated, and I think the Bama boys are going to look to get going as they work into the playoffs. If they play. Again, this is an if they play thing. I can't foresee DQ keeping those guys out because I think that he wants them to have momentum going into the playoffs, but I think that they probably will be on a pitch count.
Exactly, yeah. You pull them out after the first or second, depending on how bad or good the game is going for either side. I think you did a good job, though, in highlighting what worked for us against Washington earlier in the year and what we don't have for this game.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be interesting. But I think the most important win or loss, I think the most important thing is like seeing what you can get out of the guys that you have on this team who will be here next year. Yeah. Right. Granted, you're saying Brandon Cooks is a free agent next year. Do you need to see him on the field? Really?
He's going to want to play.
He'll play.
I get it. But
you don't. I mean,
I don't need to see him.
No, it's not, there's no evaluation that needs to happen on Brandon Cooks. But that being said, I could also foresee them looking at him and saying, yeah, we do want to try to go out on a high note. And as it stands, you are the best receiver in the room right now. So, and from a Brandon Cooks standpoint, he wants to go out on a high note because he's going back into free agency in a few weeks. So I could see it happening. But it's and we were talking about this before we went live with the first segment. It's very difficult to do homework on a game where you don't know
who's playing on either side,
who's not playing.
Yeah.
I mean,
we can only speculate on who we assume that they're going to play.
The Commanders
more
have 14 guys listed on their injury report, 16 guys, and 14 of those guys were D&P yesterday, and a lot of those guys were NIR, non-injury related rest. So. At most, I could agree with Isaiah in that if you see any of the starters for the Washington Commanders pitch count, maybe they're pulled after the second series, maybe even after the first series. So you don't really know what you're going up against. But you do know that you don't have CeeDee Lamb. You do know that Cooper Rush is, as it stands, Cooper Rush is going to be the starter. We'll see if that changes. Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy and Stephen Jones, they all want to see some Trey Lance. We don't know if that will happen. How much Trey Lance will we see? Will we see Will Grier? How much Will Grier? See, even that goes into the capacity of you don't know who's playing, what the snap count's going to be, what the splits are on any given position. So all you can say is just go out there and understand one thing in particular. Regardless of who Dan Quinn chooses to put on that field, could be his third, fourth string, doesn't matter. Dan Quinn's going to want to coach them the hell up because he wants revenge for what happened at Northwest Stadium.
How much of a factor does that play, though?
It plays a factor, but not enough that he, in my opinion, not enough that he'd be willing to risk the postseason to get that revenge against the Cowboys and try.
That's
to
where I'm at, because it's not like Dan Quinn had sour grapes with Dallas.
Right.
That's not the case. He's very well respected here. He still has a lot of respect for the coaching staff here, and you can see that by some of the players that he took with him to Washington. He had a great time in Dallas, and that's why he has the job that he does with the Commanders. So no sour grapes there. Yes, does he want to come back and win his reunion the second time around and have a little bit of revenge for what was a wild fourth quarter at Northwest Stadium? Absolutely.
You bet your buns.
But he's not going to bet and wager his postseason possibilities by doing so.
He's not going to run the risk. I just want to let people know what production you're missing this week, right? From the last matchup. The last time you faced them in Week 12, CeeDee Lamb was targeted 12 times. CeeDee Lamb was targeted 12 times.
That's a lot.
He had 10 catches.
That's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
2024 Pro Bowler.
Sounds like a guy that should be in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
You take him out of the equation, right? If you remove CeeDee Lamb from the equation, like you will have him removed this week.
Not good, Bob.
Your next leading receiver was Luke Schoonmaker on 3 catches out of 4 attempts.
I would love to see a lot of
Luke touchdown, baby.
Week.
It was a touchdown, okay?
All right.
Yep. So that's what
get it
you
twisted,
have.
man.
Everybody else is there. Everybody else who touched the ball is here and available. But you are missing that, right? That's a lot. Okay?
I'm going to see more Luke this week. This would be a great Luke Schoonmaker week. I don't need to see much of Jake Ferguson.
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not. I mean, it's not going to change your evaluation of him going into next year.
Has he made strides this year?
No.
I need to see him.
But does it change the way you view him as a player?
View him as a player? No. But
there's a way you could positively view Luke Schoonmaker going into the offseason.
I think there's a concern that you may have hit a ceiling with
all the other tight ends that made strides.
I think there is
everybody else in that room has made strides. He has to remain stagnant.
He's been banged up at different points throughout the year. So why not?
So was Micah.
Press a reset button.
Micah's not
Micah
catching
was
passes
more of
from
a
backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I think there's been a step back for Jake this year. I agree with you, actually. I really do.
Well, there has been. That's not what I'm arguing.
Yeah, we're not saying there hasn't been a step
when
back.
you look at the
why would you not need to continue to see development out of him?
Honestly,
because I'm already sold.
Right.
I already know what.
Yeah, so you are satisfied with what you're getting out of Jake Ferguson.
He has shown
as a player
far more positives than this down season.
Okay.
So as far as now we're talking risk reward, right? So what do you gain for Jake Ferguson? He goes against the Commanders and he goes off for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's wonderful. That's fun.
Pretty fun.
Yeah, it would be wonderful. It's fun, but that doesn't take my current evaluation of Jake Ferguson as a player any higher than what it already was. Let's say he goes out there and 2 catches for 15 yards. It doesn't take it down. At this point, I am where I am with Jake Ferguson, which is extremely high on him. He regressed a little bit this season, but for several reasons, right? The offense couldn't get going in the first half of the season, and then he battled some injury. He came back from the sprained MCL to a backup quarterback. They couldn't get the real chemistry going. He misses some time due to concussion. Comes back. It's just been a weird season for Jake.
My argument here, though, is that
I'd rather see more of Brevin Spanford. I'm in evaluation mode. I want to evaluate Luke Schoonmaker. I want to evaluate
Jake's played
Brevin
13
Spanford.
games.
Okay.
13 games. He's had 3 games over 70 yards.
Okay.
He has not elevated the team. That's what I was going to say. He has not
we
elevated the team when we needed him.
We agree that there's been a step back, but we're applying context to it, is what we're saying.
Finish your thought, Josh.
Just in the sample size that you have from him this season, granted he's been banged up, but when you've needed him most, when you didn't have the offensive rolling as you should have, he has not elevated the team by any means. He has not stepped up and had a great season despite all of the things that have happened. You've seen that from a lot of players that obviously this is not a great team this year. They're not winning, obviously, but you've had great performances from individual players. He has not done that.
What I'll say is it feels like, and I'll kind of spin off.
But if this season is a wash, totally understand and hope to see him do better next year. Like I said, though, it's not been great.
Also, keeping in mind, now we're talking about the risk physically, because do you want to risk losing Jake Ferguson to something that might cost him the beginning of the offseason program?
But if that's the case, then you're sitting everybody who's going to be here next year. You know what I mean?
But not everybody is a Pro Bowl potential cornerstone.
Are you playing Tyler Smith?
Am I?
I don't.
I wouldn't.
Are you playing Cooper Beebe? Or are you playing any of your other guys that are coming back?
Cooper Beebe because he's a rookie. And
so those are all contributors, though. Like, those guys don't even come off the field.
But, to answer your question, no, I wouldn't play Tyler Smith.
Okay, so
I wouldn't.
I'm saying all those offensive linemen, they don't come off the field. So if you're trying to talk about preserving your team, then don't play none of your offensive linemen. You see what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying.
There's still an evaluation standpoint
here. Needs those reps. Tyler Guyton, we know he needs those reps, right? But Tyler
I'm not
Smith,
standing on a table.
If Zach Martin were healthy and this question was posed, I'd say no. You sit Zach Martin.
Yeah,
and you sit Tyler Smith, and I would sit Jake Ferguson.
I think you know what you have in Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, you do.
But to your point, and my point is as well, I did not see, regardless of the games that he missed, the 3 games that he missed, right? Mm-hmm. I have not seen the growth, the continued. I know, and for that reason, I don't know how you can say that you've seen enough.
Because I've seen enough going into this season from him, and he's a Pro Bowler to that point, and I believe that the shake back for him comes when QB1 gets back. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yesterday, I looked Jordan Lewis in the face and I said, I think you're coordinator proof. I think Jordan Lewis is coordinator proof. Mm-hmm. Okay. That spins over to CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb used to have downturns when Cooper Rush would be in the game.
Yeah.
Right? But now he has proven that he can be QB proof. Right? Jake hasn't proven yet that he can be QB proof. So in that capacity, fine. I get what you're saying. But for the amount of risk that's there for this particular game, nothing's going to happen in this game that's going to change my outlook on Jake Ferguson. Mm-hmm. I still think that he has all-pro ability. Mm-hmm. It just didn't happen this year. I believe he'll have a good shot at it happening next year.
So you talked about it real quick, just to go back to your stat that you brought up. Mm-hmm. He's only had 3 games over 70 yards this year receiving from the tight end position, right? You know how many plus 70-plus yard games the rest of the Cowboys team has had this year?
0.
No, I would rather evaluate the rest of the room. Yeah. Because Jake Ferguson is my tight end 1 no matter what. Next year, he is still tight end 1. Okay. That's not going to change. You spent a second-round pick on Luke Schoonmaker. Mm-hmm. And at times this year, Luke Schoonmaker has taken a step forward.
Especially with Cooper Rush, right.
With Cooper Rush,
he's had
that connection. He's had that chemistry, and he's had some reps, because a lot of those, once Ferguson returned, rightfully returned to Ferguson. I want to see Schoonmaker with more reps and see what he brings going into the offseason, because I know whether or not he plays in week 18 or not, that Jake Ferguson is tight end 1.
Agreed.
That's where I'm evaluating.
Understood.
It's not necessarily about Jake Ferguson and his regression this year, because he missed 1 game early in the year, 2 games late in the year for 2 completely separate injuries. And because of that, his statistics and his entire season haven't been.
I don't put everything on stats. I don't.
I know you don't,
right.
but I'm evaluating the rest of the
I understand.
room.
But if we're going to lean on it, and from that perspective, I know he's going to be my tight end 1.
Yes.
Then everybody else that you know is going to be your number 1, sit him.
Okay.
Unless they need the reps. Okay. That's where I'm at. If you need reps, I would love to see Cooper Beebe get another game of reps.
That's the asterisk for me. The rookies need to play. But if you're not a rookie,
all the other linemen can rest.
Tyler Smith,
Smith,
Terrence Steele,
take a seat on the bench for a little bit.
Your biggest money guy
sounds good
on your offensive line.
Yep, totally fine.
Sit him.
Okay,
totally fine. I would love to see Guyton.
Unleash the evaluation.
I would love to see Hoffman. I would love to see Bass. I would love to see all those guys.
I want all of them. Matt, well, let's go unleash them all. I want full evaluation.
Josh Ball got plucked, so you can't play him. So he got picked up.
Okay. Yeah. Love that for him.
Who picked him up?
Good question. I have to go back and look. Let's take our second break. When we come back, let's flip it to the defensive side of the ball. What do you want to see from the Cowboys defense up against Washington's offense and possible offensive rookie of the year, Jaden Daniels? More Talking Cowboys right after this.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this segment of the show is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Isaiah Stanback, Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. I've learned to just pause after I say your name, so that way I don't have it covered up by Isaiah. Or Isaiah's name covered up because he says hi every time.
What's the yelp for?
I don't know.
Did you have a sip
He's
of
up now.
Black
He's
Rifle?
awake now.
No, I'm still sleepy.
Yeah, still sleepy. You got TV in a couple minutes. Again.
We do.
Wakey,
25
eggs and bakey.
Have,
I didn't get no
and
breakfast
Black
this morning. That's
Rifle.
what's wrong.
Oh, that's what's wrong.
I didn't get any breakfast this morning. I went straight into work this morning, straight into work here. Nah, I'm going to get my banana.
Yeah, no.
I need to get a double shot.
Just do it all
espresso
in one,
today.
dude.
I need some Black
I'm not
Rifle.
good at that.
I'm gonna save it
You
for
don't
tomorrow.
need that on an empty stomach anyway.
Oh,
Get the bubble guts.
tomorrow morning.
You get the,
Say it with your chest Friday. You're definitely getting the 300 milligrams, buddy.
300
but not on an
millis?
empty stomach though. That's what I'm saying. That's
Maybe I should. Maybe
I've
I
got
should.
it on
Straight into the bloodstream
right now because I didn't
do
get to
you?
eat my breakfast.
The BGs?
That's what that smell is.
Straight into the bloodstream, baby.
You say I'm smelling?
No, I'm saying fart. Gas. Gas.
You would know it.
Who are you,
Listen, bro, you would know it.
If all the starters play for the Washington Commanders,
Okay.
one offensive player, one defensive player, who are you guys most concerned about?
Terry McLaurin.
That's my answer.
Jerron Payne.
Yeah.
Oh, one offense, one defense?
One offense, one defense.
You know what? I'm going to throw a little wild card in there for
Okay.
you on the defensive side. Jeremy Chin.
Ooh.
Talked about him going into the last matchup. He's played really well this year. His worst game of the year on tape by far was against the Dallas Cowboys.
Woo!
He's ready. He's going to be coming downhill.
Repeat, baby.
If they play him. He played like
ahead and piss him
absolute
off.
garbage.
Go ahead and piss him off, Josh.
He played like garbage against the Cowboys the first time around. He was
We got your
not
number,
good.
buddy. Bring it.
I'm most
So
concerned about.
I'm worried he's going to turn it around.
I'm worried about Dorrance Armstrong. I'm not Dorrance, but
gonna find
Dante Fowler.
Right.
What is his sack total at now? Do you know?
Every play. He's gonna look up
I'll get it quick. Dante Fowler Jr.
Dante's eating. I mean, he's eating something nasty. So
He's at 12.
He's at how many? What?
Nope, 10 and a half.
Oh, I'm saying.
How many is Micah at?
Can you say that one more time?
How many is Micah at?
He's at 9.5.
9.5.
Different types of games. One's played 16 games and one has played
get
12.
it. I get it. It's still productive.
It is.
Mike is at
It's
9.5?
very productive. Yes.
Yeah. Nah.
That answers the question if Mike is playing.
Oh, he's playing.
Oh, Mike is definitely playing.
Yeah.
Now,
got a
As
quarter.
soon as he gets one,
Right. He gets that half a second.
he's going to pull that Cam
The
Ward.
hook.
He's going to be like, I'm
comes
done,
out.
guys. Thanks.
He's going to pull a Peter Griffin on the side.
Oh, you see like the cartoon hook
And just-
slowly come out behind him.
And just for perspective, why do I keep losing my doggone thing? Anyways, just for perspective, if I can get back to it, Dante Fowler Jr., okay? You guys feel that he was productive while he was here?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
2 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys, he had 10 sacks
Total.
total. He has 10 and a half
Because
this
he was
year for the
operating
Commanders.
rotational.
And yeah, he was a rotational guy.
I get it. I'm saying, but you feel like he was productive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has 10 and a half
He's a
this year.
DQ guy.
Yeah, he's
knows
he's
it.
rolling this year. He's a freaking. I don't want to use that word right now. It's insensitive,
He's a
but
house.
yeah, he's a problem.
He's a house.
But look at Dorrance Armstrong, buddy. All right. Look how much they paid him. Look how much he's doing. All right.
Yeah, Dorrance is being a complimentary player, but Dante Fowler Jr. is being that guy.
Because
Carl Lawson.
DQ.
Yeah. Look, Carl Lawson's number. Look at Dorrance Armstrong's number. All right. Tell you.
Hey,
that.
Dorrance Armstrong has 5 sacks this year.
Yeah. Carl Lawson has 5.5.
Let's go, baby.
But yeah,
Steal of the year.
Dante Fowler Jr. is doing some things this year.
Yeah,
doing some
he's
major
legit.
things. His career high in the season was for the Rams at 11 and a half. That's when he was the
balling.
man. He was balling. He's 1 sack away from that.
Yeah. He might get that if he plays.
Yeah, but I'm just
He
saying, like,
plays,
that's
he
how
might get there.
impactful he's been this year. And nobody's talking about him, but I'm just bringing it to the table. That's the person I'm most concerned about. When he was at his Pro Bowl, hey, everybody fear that man right there. Circle him on film. He's
was at
1 sack
11
away
and a
from
half.
that.
Yeah. And not to mention, what you're saying, I completely agree with. The nation is not taking notice of
No.
what Dante Fowler Jr. is. Did he even get a Pro Bowl nod?
Nope.
I haven't seen it. That's
Crazy.
bad.
Yeah.
He should be a Pro Bowler.
Yes.
However, the nation's not taking advantage of it. If there was one fan base that right now is looking at him and saying, "Oh, there's what we saw glimpses of,"
It's this one.
it's Dallas. Dallas, like you said, he was productive here. 10 sacks over 2 seasons. He was everything you needed him to be behind Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. But now that he's the featured guy, Dallas looks at him and says, "Yeah, that makes sense. 10.5 sacks. That's not shocking in a Dan Quinn system." So good for Dante. I'm glad he does
his
it.
10th
He's done
season.
it. That's impressive. 10 years.
It's his 10th season.
Wow. And he's able to
eating.
turn back the clock like that. That's impressive.
It's very impressive. So that's what I'm most concerned about on the defense side of the ball. Offensively,
Who is it? Who's your guy?
You know, I might change my. I was with you on McLaurin. if Jayden, you said this is assuming everybody plays.
Yeah, assuming everybody plays.
It's Jayden Daniels.
Jayden Daniels, 100%.
He's nasty.
We had a third string quarterback absolutely tear us apart last week. So
because I mean, think about it. In an otherwise, I mean, he's had the Cowboys weren't his only unfavorable game, but it's one of the few unfavorable games that he had, and it took all the way until the back end of the fourth quarter with that deep shot to McLaurin. Because if not for that deep shot to McLaurin, that stat line for Jayden,
not good,
not great, Bob. So I think Jayden Daniels, if he were to start, he'd have that chip on his shoulder to say, you know what, I got to get this revenge before I end.
Who's their backup?
What you got? Hand up. Backup quarterback
for Washington.
Isn't it Mariota?
It is.
Oh, it is Marcus.
It is Marcus.
Yeah, okay.
It is Marcus.
It's a heck of a backup.
Whole Heisman thing going on
backup.
over there.
Tis.
I was going to ask. We were talking about Mike Zimmer the other day, and we talked about how emotional he was in the press conference. And we can all, I don't know.
Writing on the wall, right?
Writing on the wall type of deal, right? I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
But
you just said it.
Potentially might be his last game. Do you think he just empties all the tacks and thumbnails on the ground?
That'd be awesome.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially if they want to play their guys.
Can't take it with them. So if this is in fact the final game,
might be fun to watch.
The final coaching game for Mike Zimmer, because I mean honestly, like we talked about a couple days ago, it sounds as if he's teetering on if he's done coaching. Period. If that's the case, you can't take this playbook.
Cover zero every play.
Bring the house. Rain down hell.
Yeah.
I'm down to see it.
Yeah,
me too.
All right, that does it for us here on Talking Cowboys today. Nice job, everybody. QB Vision was fantastic as always.
Stuff.
That was aggressive.
We're gonna get some 300 milligrams of
One game
caffeine,
left.
and brought to you by Black Rifle Coffee and Isaiah tomorrow for a little Say It With Your Chest Friday. The last Say It With Your Chest Friday of 2024 season, and the first of the 2025 calendar year.
Vanilla bomb.
It's sad.
It's really good.
It is sad. Remember, Talking Cowboys throughout the offseason. I'll remind you again tomorrow. We'll be on Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Central Time, same time as it was last year, starting next week. And we will have plenty of content for you tomorrow going into the final regular season matchup, and then as well next week for the rest of the offseason. For Patrik No C. Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Isaiah Stanback, Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long from Talking Cowboys. We'll see you tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!